Hey guys, it's Ed, welcome back to the kitchen. Today I want to share with you an incredibly simple recipe, but also one that's very, very special to me. Happy New Year, welcome back to the channel. Today we're not going to take it too difficult, we're going to keep it nice and simple. We're still relaxed on the holiday, still easing ourselves into the new year. So we're going to make one of the easiest cakes that you'll be able to make. It's very, very straightforward. We're going to make it in this beautiful bundt tin. We're going to make my grandmother's gingerbread cake. So the reason this recipe is really important to me and to my family is that it is my Nana's recipe from my mum's side of the family, and it's got a real importance to it. We have the handwritten recipe that she gave to my mum. It's over 100 years old and we make it all the time. When my Nana was still around, she would have a tin of this in the house at all times, and when I go home, more often than not, my mum will have made a batch of it as well. The best thing about it is A, it's delicious, and it's also incredibly easy to make. So today, we're gonna make it in a beautiful bundt tin, which is not how she made it, but it comes out beautifully and looks amazing. We're also gonna add a very, very simple lemon glaze to the cake as well. Now, for the ingredients, you're only gonna need a few things. You're gonna need some plain flour, then some spices, some ginger, some mixed spice, some cinnamon, and then some baking soda and salt. And then also one extra ingredient. We're gonna use some chili powder. This is some cayenne chili powder. It's gonna give the cake a little extra kick and give it that real flavor that gingerbread needs. If you're not a fan of chili, you can leave this out, but I think it's only a little bit and it really adds to the cake. Then we're gonna need some unsalted butter, some caster sugar, some orange marmalade, some golden syrup, eggs, and milk. Now, the golden syrup is a kind of key ingredient to this recipe. So if you are in a country that doesn't have it, there are a few things you could do. You could use molasses or treacle, but it's a very strong flavor and will kind of overpower it. So this is not my favorite version to use that in. What you could use instead is honey. That will give it some flavor as well, but what I would advise not using is corn syrup because it has no flavor, and so it won't add to the cake and it will kind of make a much more boring cake, so don't use it. If you can get hold of the golden syrup, it's a real beautiful ingredient for this recipe. Now, to make this cake is incredibly simple, but the first thing we need to do is prepare our pan. So this is a Nordic ware bundt pan. It's very intricate, and that can mean cakes have a tendency to stick. So you just need to prepare it properly, and thankfully it's very easy. What we're gonna use is a spray oil. So all we're gonna do is coat the inside of the pan with a thin coating, just making sure it gets into all those nooks and crannies. And then to ensure the cake comes out really nice and cleanly, we're gonna add a layer of flour. So just dust flour inside the entire tin, especially making sure you get that central column, because that's often where the cake might stick. And then all we're gonna do is take the tin, turn it upside down, tap it out so that all the excess flour falls out, and then we're ready to bake the cake. Just need to preheat the oven. So to make the actual cake batter is incredibly simple. So mix all the dry goods in a large bowl, just whisk that together. And then we're gonna take the remaining ingredients, apart from the eggs and milk, put those in a saucepan, and over a low medium heat, just heat that until everything is nicely melted and you've got a nice smooth mixture. And then it's incredibly simple. All you're gonna do is pour the wet into the dry and whisk that together. Then add the milk and the eggs and whisk that to combine as well. It's that simple, it's as easy as it gets. We're then gonna pour that into the bundt pan and then get that in the oven and bake it for about 45 to 50 minutes until the cake springs back to a light touch or a skewer inserted comes out clean. Now this is where I have to come clean. The recipe should also have chopped up stem ginger. I couldn't find any today, so it hasn't got any, but if you can find some, get it, because it really helps with this cake's flavor. It gives it another level of ginger and just makes for an utterly delicious cake. So the question I get asked the most when I make a bundt cake, is how to make sure the cake comes out of the pan nice and cleanly. And it's very easy. There's two important things to bear in mind. The first is the preparation, which I've already shown you, and the second is what to do with the cake when it comes out cleanly. When you take the cake out, you need to leave it to cool for 10 minutes, and this is for a couple of reasons. Mainly, it's because cakes, when they come out of the oven, and this is all cakes, the structure's not fully set, so if you try and turn it out, it's likely to break. And because bundt cakes are quite big and quite tall, they're much more prone to breaking in that manner. The second reason is if you leave it for longer than 10 minutes, the cake is likely to start to get sticky because it's lots of sugar in there, and it's likely to grip onto all those nooks and crannies of the pan. So I find leaving it for 10 minutes and then turning out ensures the cake comes out nice and cleanly. Now, you could just leave the cake bare. That's what we would normally do at home. It's a really nice, delicious gingerbread. And like all gingerbreads, it benefits from a couple of days rest. It actually gets a better texture that way. It'll become slightly stickier, slightly softer, and the flavors will come out really nicely. But if you want to add a little extra, we're going to add a little lemon glaze to it, which goes really nicely with the ginger. So what we're going to do is take the juice of a lemon and some icing sugar, and we're going to put those in a pan and cook that just until the mixture comes to a simmer, just barely bubbling, and that will help dissolve the sugar properly. We're then going to brush that over the cake, and as that sets, you get this beautiful crust on it. Really nice crackly crust that when you cut through will just break into little pieces. It's delicious. So that is how you make my Nana's gingerbread. It has a really wonderfully warming, comforting, wintry kind of flavor, and it's just the easiest recipe to make. I really hope you enjoy making this recipe. It means a lot to me and my family, so I hope you enjoy making it. And until next time, I will see you later.